think there are aspects of it that were and aspects that were not, you know.
I don't like the idea of targeting a private student group because of their identity.
Right. It's also not a good way for them to make the argument that what they're doing is not about Jewish.
Well, that's what they were yelling out. We're not anti-Semitic. That's what they started with their announcement. Which
So
is
why
nothing to
this
see.
location choice?
Yeah, right. It's sort of like, if I were to go to the, Muslim student house and start saying, stuff about Hamas or something, which I would view to
Which
be
you would,
Islamophobic.
which would not be okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, anyway, I think
It-
Weiler's very caught up in the academic sort of legalistic
Yeah.
aspects of where's the line.
Yeah.
Laurel called me right after that. It sounds like they did a pretty good job. They got over there. Everything was fine. She got 20 kids there. Holiday last night. Anyway, I was mostly afraid that suddenly they won't show up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's nice. Yeah. All right. Hey.
It wasn't
That's the
content.
last. That's the last.
Who I like.
It's not bad sometimes. I mean, when you have Trey Turner, it's like he is your turn. Sosa comes in, awesome.
Back third, and you have White Sox and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's not on a max contract.
It's incredible how
Yeah. Well, he was for like 2 months. He couldn't hit a.
Harper's back. It was like when the Yankees came to town. How do you think the chances are against the Dodgers?
Good question.
It's like in Mookie there. I think it's like the best. Mainly because you got a guy who knows stuff. It's like that team is kind of. You don't need anything to show you that Well, I mean, yeah. But I look at that team as kind of like how the 90s. It's like everybody. It'll be interesting to see if they allow that.
And I loved your sermon. And I lived in Cleveland, and I recall my parents saying they didn't have enough money to send me to Camp Wise. So I have like this camp envy. It sounds like it's really cool.
we as a family made heavy use of the federation and the scholarship. I would not have been able to go. My parents could not have afforded it.
So same story. You were in Detroit.
Similar. I was in Detroit, and I sort of, through the good graces of the Jewish Federation in Detroit, was able to go to camp. I mean, it was subsidized, and I got scholarship. I mean, I'm pretty confident I got scholarships and such, because even back then, it wasn't nearly as expensive as it is now, but still, in relative dollars, it was still money.
Yeah, for my parents it was a lot. Partially in my heart, I'm like, well, I wonder, I don't know why my parents necessarily. But also, I think there was a part of me that my mother worried. So it was like 3 weeks without me. My mom was very
I get it.
zealous.
I get it. I was a little bit protective and need my
Yeah.
children. I get the same way.
But I think, and I hear your stories, and it's great because
It builds. It is. It's a powerful experience, and it's such a gift as an adult to be allowed into that.
that's amazing.
That I'm allowed to do that every summer.
Closest I got to that was being a member of BBYO. So I was in David Berger AZA, and like Conclave was like guitar and singing, and I was like, people said this is as close as you'll probably get to that.
Although arguably,
Yeah,
I do have. I mean, you have to know.
It wasn't
incredible
out.
respect
Okay.
for the people who get them for the rest of the year. And we get to work with them, and who also have an interesting perspective on their development and
Yeah.
how they change and where they could go and where they actually go and all of that. So
well, yesterday I had a student come, because I'm crazy, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, from New Jersey.
What's up? Yes. Yeah, just happened.
I'm from Ohio. One's from Columbus.
You're too kind. I wish I was playing the Barry here. That'd be fun. Oh man.
What's going on with biking?
I have an appointment to call you. I have an appointment to call you.
I don't have a car, so it's like I'm hoping I can walk in.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's mention it.
You're in height of me. I'm gonna step up.
Oh my gosh, look who it is.
Let's mention it.
I'm coming up to sing later. You'll see. I'm on the
It's
list.
always sweat.
Yeah, you want to step out during this. So here, at this point, you step out
And
or
then
cover
come
your
out.
ear.
Let's just have to go to the restroom.
But I have a canter brand near me tomorrow. For the, I'm gonna do these prayers on my own.
It's going to be wonderful.
Yes.
It'll be wonderful.
And I'm doing the Torah again.
It'll be wonderful. So, Alpha,
B-E-A-L. Brian, or Jerry. Jerry Beal. If you will. I'm not sure why they missed it, but that's perfect.
I'm glad you're checking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
there you go.
Jerry Beal. What do you got? Holds on a stern. Lillian Sternman.
Well, Sternman is a good yucca name. Good yucca name. That's a good one.
Got it. Get the name. What did you write? Jerry Beal. Okay. Oh, right, because that would be the namesake of Little Jerry. You figured out my system here, did you?
Not really. I did my best.
Close enough.
To say, after a couple years of wearing the same collie everywhere, this feels a little flashy. I don't know.
It's a good tie with it. It's like the color scheme.
It's a weird name, but it's a Jerry Garcia tie. So
What does that mean, though?
it's designed by Jerry Garcia.
But is it based on a song? Or?
No, it's just based upon how he looked at it and thought it was.
Okay.
Whatever.
Whatever he was experiencing at that moment.
Could be anything.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קדשנו וציוונו
La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ay la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ay la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la.
Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of Cantor Hyman and our president, John Broder, what a joy it is to welcome congregants and friends and guests in our sanctuary and online. Let's please be sure to be among community. Please take this moment to introduce yourself in the comments or in the room, to get up and find someone new to greet.
Well, I knew, I guess.
Exactly. We return to our seats and turn in our prayer books to page 2 as we welcome Fred Kogan to kindle our Shabbat lights. Yeah, just for you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvohotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
We continue on page 5 with our Shabbat Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'rasav lahanu, b'shabbat kadsho, b'ahava uvrason hinkilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziyat mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta, v'tanu kidashta, b'kol ha'amim, b'shabbat kadshecha, b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim. Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Here's my favorite story of the week. We took a conversion student to the mikveh, the community mikveh, where we take our students, and for some time, for too long, the mikveh that we use has had a broken heater, the hot water heater, and it's actually not supposed to be a cold immersion. It's supposed to be comfortable and lovely and spiritual. So usually it's a very warm temperature, sort of like a spa, but right now, at least it's summertime, but right now it's a little chilly in there. And so after the conversion student did her immersion, the mikveh attendant apologized to her for the very cold water. Well, our student had just a wonderful perspective and responded saying, "No apologies, it was invigorating, and it kept me aware and present in the moment like a wake-up call." And I thought, what a perfect approach to that situation. And also it made me think of the fact that this is now about to be, next week begins, the Hebrew month of Elul, the Hebrew month preceding the High Holy Days. And during Elul and during Rosh Hashanah, we are commanded to hear the sound of shofar, to wake us up. And so the mikveh, in its own way, served as a shofar this week, but now we start to turn towards not only Shabbat, but towards anticipation of this time of intense contemplation, of pursuing really deep presence so that we can make the most of this season of reflection. This Shabbat, let us take a deep breath and release, turning from the rush of the week to the peace and the joy and the presence of Shabbat as we turn to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We've now welcomed this image of the Shabbat angels into our space, and it's time to welcome the Shabbat bride, or the Shabbat love, into the space as we turn to pages 20 and 21 and continue with Lecha Dodi.
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך ישמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי אורי אורי שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה.
If you are comfortable, it's traditional to rise now.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה.
Turning to page 28, we continue with our call to worship.
Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai.
In the middle of page 29, together. O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthest most star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. O let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. Page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu u'bekomeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam v'avat olam. Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadta. When we lie down and when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down and when we rise up, this joy will last forever, forever. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadta. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 36. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 41. Sing the song of men and women and people joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Page 40.
Lay 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 yalla lay 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 mi khamoch ba'elim atonai mi khamoch netar b'kodesh Norat Hilo Osefele, Norat Hilo Osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Bokeyam lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Zeili anu ve'amru, Zeili anu ve'amru, Adonai. לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם, לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים 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 ושמור צאתנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Page 46 and following, please rise for the Amidah.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol, Atah Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומצהיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. In a moment, we will be on the middle of page 259. The state of Israel and the people of Israel and people across the globe rejoiced with the news that Qaid Farhan al-Qadi, a Bedouin Israeli, was rescued by Israeli soldiers from a tunnel in Gaza. On October 7th, he had been serving as a security guard at a factory when the Hamas terrorists shot and abducted him after he refused to disclose where they could find the Jews at his workplace. Once rescued, the Israeli doctor who treated him was wearing a kippah. The story of the Arab man saving Jews and then the Jews saving the Arab man, this is the micro story of the shared liberation for which I pray. For only when Israelis and Palestinians each have their own home will we both be physically safe and morally whole. page 259, together. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We take these moments for silent prayer.
אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ומקל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ולמקל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ולמקל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי. פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, בתורתך. נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ולמקל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ולמקל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה. אלוהי, אלוהי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני, אדוני, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
In a moment, we'll be on the middle of page 253 for a blessing for healing. A friend shared this graffiti seen in Israel. Using the Hebrew word for the shofar sound of shivarim, the broken sound, the graffiti says, "How many broken sounds, shivarim, shatterings, do we have to hear until we hear a tekiah gedolah, wholeness?" If you have a loved one in need of healing, mind, body, or spirit, in need of wholeness of any kind, please add that name to the comments or speak it aloud now.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. אל נא רפא לה, אל נא רפא לה, רפאנה לה, אל נא רפאנה לה. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים.
We turn our thoughts to those blessings, those simchas, special occasions in our lives, worthy of blessing, worthy of gratitude. If you have a special occasion, a simcha to share from today, from this past week or recently, please consider sharing that, calling that out now. I see the deliberating in the pews. Do I share this thing? Do I not? Is my mother telling me to share this thing? Yes. Happy birthday. That is definitely worth sharing. Happy birthday. Anyone else? That's okay. We are just thankful for the blessing of joining together for Shabbat. How precious it is. We do not take it for granted. And so turning to page 344, we give thanks with our Shehechianu blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
You're out on Green Street, right outside of the synagogue, and you happen to overhear the sound of shofar. Now, have you fulfilled the mitzvah of hearing shofar? What do you think? I'm seeing this. This is like a good Jewish on the one hand. All right, according to the Mishnah, our ancient Jewish legal text, if you are out there overhearing it, but sort of tune it out and you're not focused on the sound of shofar, then no, you are not fulfilling the mitzvah with that overhearing. However, if you've focused on it, you're really paying attention, even though you just happened upon that sound, yes, you have fulfilled the obligation. Why? What do we think? Intention, kavanah. If I bring the intention, then the mitzvah is fulfilled. I've both heard it and listened. Not surprising, as we know Judaism. But then the Mishnah adds a twist. If you sound a shofar into a pit and clearly hear the sound of the shofar, then you have fulfilled the obligation to hear shofar. But if you hear the sound of an echo, you have not fulfilled the obligation. So, I'm outside of a pit, sounding shofar into a pit. If I can hear the direct blast, not just an echo, I have fulfilled the obligation. Okay, question asked and answered. But what ought to be the question there? Why am I blowing the shofar into a pit? There's a commentary that adds, this is the 15th century Bartanura commentary, that adds, if there are people in the pit who hear you out there blasting the shofar, they have fulfilled the obligation. I believe the commentator is saying, from the pit, they have fulfilled the obligation to hear shofar, even if they can only hear its echo. Perhaps when people are in a pit, we cannot be too picky about how they complete their ritual. It's an odd scenario, but now, hold on, step back with me. Are there really people in a pit? Maybe start there. Maybe someone just should not be alone in a pit. For some, that image of a pit is sort of ridiculous to bring a smile to our face. And yet, our sages are actually picturing the potential that someone is in a pit. So for some, that image of people in a pit brings a pit to their stomach, too close to home. Rabbi Josh Weinberg, the Union for Reform Judaism vice president for our Reform Zionism work, teaches it is painful to picture that pit when we know 108 hostages remain in some sort of pit. As he calls for a return of the hostages and an end to the war, and for two homes for Israelis and Palestinians to achieve a two-state solution, he imagines maybe it's time to climb in there with them. Indeed, if you see someone in a pit, maybe set down your shofar. Maybe it's time to climb in there with them, rescue them, or hold their hand, or sit with them and listen. rather than hear the shofar, hear each other. And there are people in other pits, pits of isolation, pits of self-protection, self-defense from a scary world. There are pits where we try to escape the ugliness in the world. There are pits we are thrown into when we are harmed, or when we are scared, or when we are told to check our Zionism at the door. There are pits we walk past, where others are harmed or scared or rejected, or where others are just overcome with vulnerability. Places where we ought to set down the shofar, climb on in, and instead of hearing shofar, hear one another as intentionally as we would hear shofar. In our world today, I think we are learning the oldest pandemic is loneliness. Right now, I am particularly feeling for the students returning to school, which last year, for many Jews, became lonely places. I can see how that loneliness has the potential to become a cycle. The alienation makes students more prone to draw further into isolation. True for Jews on campus, true for Jews in our Philadelphia public and private schools, especially true for Jews of color. Over the past year, I have witnessed our students in the school district of Philadelphia experience hostility, intimidation, and discrimination from fellow students and from teachers, violations that were tolerated or encouraged by the administration. Parents had trouble getting meetings with administrators, and when those meetings took place, they yielded little in results. Their asks were reasonable and smart: training for teachers, inclusion in efforts for DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, enforcement of already existing social media policies. After seeing no results, recently, the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, made a complaint to the Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights, on behalf of the Jewish Families Association of the School District of Philadelphia. I respect the decision to take this action and to stand up to hate. There was little else they could do. It was time to blast their shofar. But it breaks my heart. It angers me to know families were forced to resort to this complaint. It baffles me that there was not another path to understanding. It leaves me feeling more lonely to know the School District of Philadelphia refused to really sit down and within community figure out how to understand and protect our students. It disillusions me to see that the very approaches I really believe are right do not always work. Still, I cannot allow the School District of Philadelphia's shortcoming to shape my beliefs. I cannot allow it to cause me to give up on conversations across lines of difference. I cannot allow it to draw me into isolation from non-Jews. I cannot abandon who I am. We cannot allow their failure to lead us to abandon who we are. For we are a people who teaches. We never stop teaching and learning. We are a people who sits and talks and listens and challenges and seeks to understand. When we are in a pit, we cannot be silent or silenced. We cannot be isolated or alienated even if at times we can only hear the echo. When others are in the pit, we do not abandon them. We climb down there so we can be there with them and for them. And when no one will listen to us, or no one will listen to our neighbor in need, then yes, we pick up the shofar and we blast, and we wake up ourselves and the world. Shabbat Shalom. We continue in our prayer books with Aleinu on page 282 and then 287. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. This week, our congregation observes yahrzeit for the following people on whose shoulders we stand: Mamie Schumann Abelson, Charles Kaiser Allman, Charles M. Barlow, Jerome Bass, Jerry Beal, Samuel Bean, Emmanuel Beck, Marlene Beer, Sylvain K. Bernstein Sr., Jacob A. Biberman, Saul Brody, Saul H. Brotman, Edith Kreskoff, Henry Dittenfass, Joseph L. Ehrenreich, Alma Feinstone, Abram R. Finkel, Morris Fleischer, Maurice Flegelman, Mayor Frank, David Frankel, Rebecca Gable, Elaine Garfinkel, William Gersley II, Emma N. Goldbaum, Seymour Golden, Sadie Reba Goldman, Elliot J. Goldman, Beulah D. Hammerschlag, Sadie Hassler, Minna G. Herson, Gertrude Honig, Miriam Deborah Jacoby, Goldie Kahn, Cy Kamens, Bernice Cass, Suzanne Kessler, Irving Kest, Blanche Spanier Stern Koch, Rosalind Kogan, Ruth B. Bernstein Krasnoff, Irene Engel Levy, Ida M. Lewis, Ferdinand Loeb, Albert Lyman, Rosa Stein Miller, Milton J. Merman, Jeanette David Meyer, Henry H. Netter II, Florence Neubauer, Fanny R. Nitzberg, Irene Pressmont Pagel, Francis Parnes Peitzman, Arthur B. Putzel, Edward D. Reinheimer, Charna Rickey, Bertha H. Roll, Hannah D. Rosenbaum, May Gansman Rosenbluth, David H. Rosenbluth, Arnold M. Rosenfield, Alice Malter Roskam, Catherine Siegel Sablasky, William J. Sauer Jr., Leopold Schlesinger, Laura Liebman Serlin, Max Scheller, Georgia Schuster, Ferdine Skolranek, Lillian Sturman, Nettie Stone, Irene Wade, Asher Jacob Wallerstein, Ellen Weiler, Randy Weinstock, Joel Winnetz, Mark M. Woldo, Sarah R. Wolf, Estelle Wolf, Alvin E. Wolf Jr., Clara G. Zamachnik, Ruth Greenberg Zibman. We add the names of those who have been taken from our midst, but not from our hearts, in these most recent days, for whom we observe Shloshim. Tom Goldblum, Paul Good, Mary Kostianowski, Howard M. Megan, Helen Daniel Stam. And if you are observing Yartzeit or Shloshim for a loved one whose name I did not call, please feel free to add it to the comments or speak it aloud now. Together we honor their memories as, turning to page 294, we rise for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shmei rabbah, be'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyumechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala u'bizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalav v'yitalal shmei d'kudasha berechu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, chushbachata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to the bereaved and peace to each of you. And together we say, Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, uya ase shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
It's my pleasure to welcome forward John Broder, our congregational president.
Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see everybody. I don't have any specific announcements other than to say that here in the program, we've got a bunch of good programs coming up, and of course, right after Labor Day, we have a lot coming up, not to mention the high holidays, so you should look for information about that in the mail. Before I end, I just want to, once in a while, what I like to do is acknowledge these incredible musicians that we have up here. I don't take them for granted. I don't think any of us should. Not only do they enhance the music here, they really are extraordinary musicians, and we're very privileged to have them. So thank you so very,
Amen.
very much. There we go. And if anybody here is new to Road of Shalom, please come back and introduce yourself to Lynn Edelman, our waiver of the week and a wonderful congregant, and Shabbat Shalom. Have a great weekend, everybody.
As we enter the reflective preparatory month of Elul, this week's Torah portion comes and teaches us, Re'eh, see this day I set before you blessing and curse. May we choose blessing.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav ve'elecha michuneka. Yisa Adonai panav ve'elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless us and keep us.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה.
May the light of God's Spirit shine upon us and through us.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
May God's presence be with us and bring us peace. Kei nihi ratzon, may this be God's will. Shabbat shalom.